Okay, well, thank you everybody for joining us today on this Groundhog Day. I'm going to call this meeting to order with a statement of proper notice. Notice of this meeting has been posted on the municipal bulletin board and forwarded to the Hopewell Valley News, the Trentonian, Mercer Me, and the Hopewell Express on January 6, 2026, in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975. Roll call, please.
Committee Member Kaczynski.
Here.
Committee Member Peters Manning.
Here.
Committee Member Ruger.
Here, and I want to apologize in advance. I'm catching a cold and I feel like I'm losing my voice, so I will probably have my microphone off and the video off.
Okay.
Feel better.
Yeah, feel better. Deputy Mayor Pirandare
I'm here.
and Mayor Jake.
Here. If you're able to, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. And we'd like to start tonight with a proclamation recognizing the month of February as Black History Month in the state of New Jersey.
Thank you, Mayor. So whereas the history of New Jersey and the history of our nation are inextricably linked to the heritage of our country's Black Americans, and whereas in the beginning of our nation's history, a large majority of Black Americans were enslaved, yet many, such as William Stives, a local African American war veteran, Badge of Merit recipient, participated in the struggle of American independence with his life in order to build a society based on the ideals of liberty, prosperity, and self-government. And whereas the history of Black Americans in this story of extraordinary individuals such as Friday Trueheart, Frost Blackwell, and Sylvia Dubois who were born enslaved but achieved their freedom, and along with William Stives, a free man, were amongst the first African Americans to settle in the Sauerland Mountains region and raise families whose descendants would remain in the area. And
whereas the history of African Americans has not been accurately transcribed, as the history has either been diminished, distorted, or deleted. Black Americans have served in every theater of war. In the Civil War, 88,000 New Jerseyans participated, with African Americans numbering upwards of 2,900. From our region, soldiers such as Ira Bergen, Raymond Bergen, George Bolden, Lewis Fisher, William Boyer, Charles Jennings, Samuel Montgomery, John Naz, Tracy Peterson, George Resiner, William Resiner, Samuel Ridley, James Schneck, Jonathan Stives, Aaron Trueheart, George Williamson, and John Van Zant enlisted in the United States Colored Troops in the 127th, 41st, 29th, 24th, 14th, 11th, 8th, and 3rd Regiments, and were eyewitnesses to historical events such as President Abraham Lincoln's second inauguration, Lee's surrender to Grant at the Appomattox Courthouse, and were survivors of the bloody Battle of Olustee, which suffered some of the heaviest regimental losses recorded in the Civil War. And
whereas the spirit of competition in athletics and played an integral role in the history of our region because of the Black Americans such as Paul Arnold, a local African American man who started with the Pennington All-Star and went on to play against well-known athletes, both black and white, and became a number of the Brooklyn Royal Giants, the New York Browns, and New York Dodgers, which became part of the Negro National League. And whereas, while the history of Black Americans is also the story of countless nameless heroes brought to our shores who endured life or bandage and oppressions, the deprivation of their civil rights, and the revenge of bigotry and racism. It is a history for which the most glorious chapters have yet to be written as a Black American contributes in full measure of the fulfillment of the American promise. And
whereas the people of New Jersey and this nation should study the history of Black Americans through vehicles such as the book If These Stones Could Talk, written by local residents Beverly Mills and Elaine Buck, about the African American presence in the Hopewell Valley, Sauerland Mountains, and surrounding region. The Sankofa collaborative comprised of 5 New Jersey organizations, the 1804 Consultants, Grounds for Sculpture, the New Jersey Historical Society, and the Stoutsburg-Sauerland African American Museum, and the William Trent House Museum, and the Amistad Commission, so they may learn from its stories of heroism, struggle, and achievement. And whereas, in order to commemorate and honor the heroic and significant contributions of Black American residents of the Hopewell Valley throughout history, the Township's governing body has directed that new roads within 2 neighborhoods be named after these prominent individuals, including Aaron Trueheart, Louis Fisher, Cora Bergen, Samuel Sutphin, Leona Stewart, Paige Hoagland, and others. And whereas, on April 5th, 2005, this state adopted PL 2005 Joint Resolution Number 2, which designated the month of February each year as Black History Month in recognition of the many accomplishments of Black Americans and their contributions to the history of this nation and state, and to provide the citizens of this state with an annual opportunity to pay tribute to the sacrifices and accomplishments of Black Americans.
Now therefore be it resolved by the Township of Hopewell, County of Mercer, and State of New Jersey, number 1, the Township recognizes February as Black History Month in the State of New Jersey and acknowledges and pays tribute to the bravery, sacrifices, and accomplishments of Black Americans. And 2, the Township urges all citizens of this state to reflect upon the many contributions that Black Americans have made to this state and nation, and to participate in the activities and programs that are held in observance of Black History Month in accordance with PL 2005 Joint Resolution Number 2.
And Mayor, can I add that the new roads are now in
Absolutely.
existence? Aaron Trueheart Way and Cora Bergen Boulevard are right off of Scotch Road. And then the collection has Stoutsburg Boulevard and Sauerland Boulevard, and they intersect. So if anyone is interested in understanding the history of where those road names come from, they're all named after prominent African-American residents of the Hopewell Valley over time.
Absolutely, and appreciate you championing that. And it's so important that we recognize the full history of our township. And so I think this is just very, very important what we're doing here tonight, as well as all of the other ways that amplify that. All right, well, thank you. Well, next on the agenda is additional items for the meeting agenda. The only thing that I will note is that Resolution 10 has been amended, where it now adds wastewater. So with that, we are going to move to committee member and staff reports, and we're actually going to start with Mr. Goodell for an update on litigation.
Okay, I do have an update for you. After going month after month by saying no new update, I'm going to talk to you in closed session. I've got something to report. And that is that after 4 years of litigation, we learned on Friday at around noon that the Supreme Court had declined to hear the appeal by Pennington Borough of the pilot litigation. That means that the appellate division decision in our favor stands. There is no further litigation, and we win the case. So, the financial agreement that you all entered back in February 22nd, 2022, when you had a hearing here and the room was full of people either speaking in support of or against it, those decisions now are binding forevermore. There can be no further challenges. First step in the litigation was Hopewell Borough and Pennington Borough both challenged it in Superior Court before Judge Lugie in Mercer County. That litigation took about 1.5 years, but at the end of the day, the judge decided in our favor. The boroughs both appealed. They appealed to the appellate division. That litigation took another 1.5 years. During that time, Hopewell Borough dropped out of the litigation, but Pennington Borough decided to continue it. It was also during that time that you all decided that you would reserve $16.1 million to support the school district for the Bear Tavern school build out. But none of that could happen until we knew whether or not you'd have the money available. Eventually, the appellate division decided in our favor. The last step in the process was for Pennington Borough to ask the Supreme Court to hear the case. Because there was no appeal as of right to the Supreme Court, this was on the Supreme Court's discretionary docket. In other words, they could decide whether or not there was an issue of public importance that had to be heard. And in essence, they ruled that there wasn't, that the reasons stated by the appellate division were valid. Bennington Borough had not brought any further issues to the fore, and therefore there was no reason for them to interfere with that decision. So, congratulations, we're done.
Thank you. I appreciate all of that. And I do want to give, in a moment, the opportunity for Township Committee, if anyone has any thoughts on that. I just want to personally say that I'm pleased that this long-running matter has been closed. I think the substantial cost that the township residents have had to bear because of this, I think the uncertainty that so many both residents but as well as our students have had to wait in regards to this has been trying. And so I'm thrilled that this is now over, and I'm thrilled that we can move forward with our legal agreement and obligations there. And so looking forward to the next chapter. And so I'd like to open it up to anyone.
Sure. I just would like to thank Mr. Goodell. You were with us in this from the beginning and argued the case not once, not twice, well, I guess just twice. But
With briefs on the other one.
yes, and so all three levels. So thank you for all of your work and for guiding us through this. And I agree with the mayor. I'm very glad that it's over and we can continue now, move forward with the $16.1 million for Bear Tavern.
Yeah, I'd like to echo those thanks to Mr. Goodell. I know, it's always darkest before the dawn. You've steered us well over my 11-plus years on the committee, and very much appreciate it. We had a strong case. We knew that going in, but as we had to discuss with the school district, until the matter was fully reserved, we could not fulfill the commitment we made, which is going to be to getting the kids out of the trailers and to expanding Bear Tavern so that every child in Hopewell Valley gets served in a classroom versus a trailer. So I think this is a big step forward, and thank you again.
My pleasure.
Yeah, I echo all my fellow committee members have said, and as I said, I always have said it, even my first supporting the pilot agreement, that my kids went through the Hopewell Valley Public Schools and they got the best of best. And we always wanted every student going through the Hopewell Township, Hopewell Regional School District get the best. And I'm so happy that, Bear Tavern waited long enough, and now it's that, whatever the accommodation were made for them, it's going to be even better with all this litigation out of our way. I'm very happy, and thank you. As I said, you were with us all along, steered us well. I'm very happy for the outcome that we have seen. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
As we heard, reached out to our council who's working with the school district council on developing dimensions of what we truly do with the 16.1 million. I spoke with Dr. Treese today to let her know that this is being fast tracked and that we're getting over now that our long township nightmare is over and we can actually move forward. One thing that I did want to note, though, it's really easy to kind of lose perspective on numbers. And this is no offense to our great legal team, but let's remember that when we have what is essentially frivolous litigation, it takes a long time for legal experts to work on other issues in the courts of the township, and it costs money. A high five-figure/low six-figure bill, anybody who sat through one of our budget meetings sees how closely we watch every dollar. That's a vehicle for public works, that's a vehicle for the police department, and that was one of those. So, I just want people to understand that legal fees are real money, and when we spend them, that's money that we can't spend on other services for township residents. So, it's time to move forward, and as Committee Member Kaczynski said, let's get the kids out of the trailers. It would have been better to start this 2 years ago, but we can do it now.
Thank you. And again, thank you, Mr. Goodell and everyone for their support, and positive outcome for residents, positive outcome for students, and we look forward to all of the next steps.
And let me also say, this was also the last issue for our third round affordable housing plan. We started that litigation in 2015. Finishing this last piece of it brings that all to a close, 11 years later. Yeah.
It's a long journey. All right, great. Well, moving along, I appreciate that with committee member and staff reports. Mr. Snyder.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, committee members. I do not have anything to report tonight.
Can you just, with all the snow events and this never-ending winter, I know the Public Works team has been out tirelessly, I think it would be helpful, and it doesn't have to be tonight, it could be at our next meeting, just to recount the number of ice events and salt events we've had. I know even this past storm, Public Works got out early, they put salt down, they cleared the streets. They then took some well-deserved time off while the snow came down more heavier, and then they came out and they cleared the streets again. So I at least want to say thank you tonight, and if you want to report back at a future date, I really want to recognize the Public Works team for all their efforts.
Okay, yes, it does seem like a never-ending winter, and I'll relay that to them, that your appreciation, and I'll have a report for the next meeting.
Thank you. Ms. Burkhead.
Good evening, Mayor and Committee. I have nothing to report.
Great.
Thank you.
Mr. Goodell, anything else to report?
No.
It was already a very, very big report. Ms. Robin.
Nothing tonight. Thank you.
Ms. Fenton Newman.
Nothing for me.
Okay. Why don't we start on Zoom? Committee Member Ruger.
I'll be brief. The Open Space Advisory Committee meets tomorrow night by Zoom at 7 o'clock. The Agriculture Advisory Committee has been moved from this Wednesday to next Tuesday. They will be meeting in person at 7:30 in Township. That's all I have.
Thank you. Committee Member Kaczynski.
Thank you, Mayor. So just a couple reports. We're going to have tomorrow night, we will have a final review, or hopefully final review, of our capital budget for 2026. So we've been through that multiple times. We've given deliberation. We'll need to make some decisions on both direct funding of capital as well as the capital improvements that we would like to fund for 2026. We will, at the end of this, just while we have this group together, I would like to look at dates. We can either do this or we can do it later in the meeting after public. But we now need to turn our attention to the operating budget, which we will strive, we will meet roughly once a week between now and when we finish it. And we will do as in years past, which is we'll invite each team in from the various departments. They will present their needs and their wants and their must-haves, and we will talk about that, we'll deliberate it, and as always, we're trying to provide the services our residents expect, but to do it in a responsible manner for our residents. The only two other just quick notes, we have a special planning board on February 9th, so we will be continuing discussion about the venue. There has been a lot of very heartfelt and important feedback from the public, and so our professionals are presently talking with Lennar both about what has already been agreed to and what additional items they may be willing to do based on the feedback they heard in our last meeting. The final thing I would say, and it was helpful that we read the resolution to the record earlier, we were coming up on the 250th anniversary of the founding of America, which happened and started at the Turning Point Triangle, which was the battle, Washington crossing into Hopewell Township, the first Battle of Trenton, the second Battle of Trenton, and then the Battle of Princeton. And those 10 crucial days changed history. So you're going to hear a lot more on what we're going to be doing locally to both honor those contributions, to use it as a reason to bring people while they're already out celebrating the 250th across America to Hopewell Township, and investments we'll be making in some of our historical structures. I would note that saw today from the Washington Crossing State Park that the visitor center, the new visitor center in New Jersey, is getting closer to fruition. We also heard that, importantly, some of the other historical structures on that property have received an independent state grant to help refurbish those properties. And so you'll have more news ahead in the days ahead.
Big year.
Great.
Committee Member Peters Banning.
I have nothing to report tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor.
Just very brief, Board of Health is going to be meeting tomorrow here at 6:30 in the courtroom. That's it from me. Thank you. Oh, I have one more announcement. I don't remember I announced it before, but the Hopewell Township helped the Lawrence Hopewell Trail to get the $994 grant to finish the Cleveland sector of the LST, which is the huge, and township. I would like to give a shout out to the township, and and we will be managing this grant, and we are happy to get it and grant it and help LHT as our commitment all along, always get it what they want. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And I just have two very, very quick things to add tonight. Number one is I just want to draw everyone's attention to a press release that went out earlier today. We had met earlier last week with Phobos just about some upcoming prescribed burns. All of the information there is about the locations, the timing, the advance notice, but I do like to specifically call that out because I do know that without awareness of that, seeing that could be alarming. So I just wanted to explicitly call that out. And then I do want to invite everybody here to come back at our next meeting where we at the beginning are going to be unveiling the photo contest winners for 2026 who are all going to be in this year's calendar. And so that's always an exciting event. So come back in 2 weeks. But with that, I'm going to move forward with everything. And we are in our first public section. So if you have, I'll now open the meeting for public discussion. If you have a comment, please step to the podium or raise your hand on Zoom. Clearly state your name and your address, and public comment will be limited to 3 minutes. As always, we're going to take all of the questions and comments first, and then we'll go ahead and make sure that we answer everything that was asked. And so with that, why don't we get started? If anyone would like, please come on up or raise your hand.
Good evening. Is this working? How's that? Better? Thank you. Jim Bird, Hopewell Township. I wanted to get together with you, the members of the Township Committee, to specifically get in touch with the federal Senate members of New Jersey, as well as the country in general, as well as the House of Representatives of New Jersey, and it's in regards to the issue of the venue, which Lennar Homes wants to put into existence. Please keep in mind that Sunoco has a jet fuel pipeline that is 4 feet below ground that's coming through the properties over at Nursery Road, but this pipeline starts at Twin Oaks, Pennsylvania, and goes to Newark, New Jersey. I was 1957. I had moved into 181 Scotch Road. Had no idea that they put this pipeline in. I knew the other gas lines went in, but I didn't know this pipeline went in. However, we found that there was a problem with the pipeline in which it leaks, and it leaked right over on the west side of the Delaware River at Bucks County, and the township did not take Sunoco, the owners of the pipeline, to court. It had to be done by the local citizens in regards to this. And it shouldn't be the local citizens having to do it. It should be the government who represents the taxpayers, the voters, and so on. So with that in mind, we don't care if Lennar Homes puts in the venue. However, what has to be done first is one of two things. Either they have Sunoco shut down that pipeline for good, or else they replace the pipeline from Twin Oaks all the way to Newark, because this pipeline is over 20 years more than the expected life of that pipeline existence. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bird. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Anybody on Zoom?
No one's raising their hand, Mayor.
Okay, well, seeing no further comments, I'm going to go ahead and close the public session. Mr. Byrd, to answer your questions, firstly, in terms of points of contact, while I do know that there is obviously publicly available information online, et cetera, I'm happy if you shoot me a personal email or an email to my township email to give you, again, those appropriate links for the contact information for our local representative and senator's offices. To your questions and notes regarding the pipeline, we too, like yourself and everyone, care deeply, of course, about the safety of all of our residents. And in fact, even more than the venue, as we've shared here, that pipeline runs across much of Hopewell Township. And so we have been very vigilant about this and very, like everyone else, concerned with making sure we have all of the information. As we've shared previously at these meetings, and I'm about to turn it over to Committee Member Peters Manning, who actually literally spoke to PHMSA earlier this week. The entire pipeline through New Jersey has been inspected. There have been no fines or needs for remediation in Hopewell Township. But I want to make sure that you have the latest and the deepest information there.
So we've shared this information several times, and I've shared it with Mr. Byrd via email several times. As the mayor said, we heard directly from PHMSA. The inline inspection has been completed through the whole length of the pipeline. There were no sleeves in Hopewell Township that were found to be deficient and had to be replaced. However, there were some, and that repair work has already been done. So this is a federal jurisdiction matter. The federal government has jurisdiction over interstate commerce. So the pipeline going through Pennsylvania and New Jersey, this is the federal government. We have been working closely with, I've spoken with Andy Kim's office several times about this issue. They were extraordinarily helpful in getting PHMSA to respond to me about, to give me the information that I just gave to everyone. But we've said all of this many times, that we've gotten the information from PHMSA, and the pipeline has been inspected and no deficiencies were found.
Yeah, and again, just to highlight, we take this as seriously as everyone else, and we will continue to be in contact, and please know that. Regarding the other points that were made, obviously a matter before the planning board is not something that we are able to comment on specifically, but I do know that the deputy mayor and committee member Kaczynski do sit on the planning board, so if you just have anything to add, and it's okay if not, I'll just turn it over to either of you.
Not at this time. I mean, I think there will be some of the latest communication from PHMSA to our former mayor, Ms. Peters Manning, will be shared in that public forum. They have been extremely responsive to the township. I want to compliment former mayor Peters Manning because she has taken this on like full on and has really insisted that we get answers. And as she has said in the past, we're concerned about it because it's not just an issue with the venue. It's a pipeline that runs and traverses almost the entire width of Hopewell Township. And so health, welfare, and safety, top of our agenda, and we're going to stay on it. We've been on it, but the communications we've gotten to date are reassuring.
Just well said. I don't have anything additional to add into it. Well said.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you. Well, moving on, we have minutes submitted for approval. A, special budget, regular, and executive meeting minutes of January 12th, 2026. Can I have a motion in a second?
I'll move it, and I just want to thank our clerk and our clerk's office. I want to thank you for the timeliness of these minutes. It was some years ago that there was a gap, and being able to report back on the minutes on a timely, consistent basis is very helpful for both us and for the public. So
Hear, hear.
And I'll second both the motion and Mr. Kaczynski's sentiments.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, abstentions? Seeing none? Great. Next up, we have the consent agenda. A resolution accepting the resignation of Executive Secretary in the Recreation Department, Melissa Ketchum. B, a resolution accepting the resignation of Patrol Officer in the Police Department, Sarah Sharp. C, a resolution approving the payment of unused vacation and sick time to Margaret Umbro. D, a resolution authorizing refunds from Hopewell Township escrow accounts. E, a resolution to cancel Resolution 26-24, authorizing a refund of a Hopewell Township Recreation Program fee and to authorize a refund of a Hopewell Valley Ride Provide fee. F, a resolution authorizing refund of tax overpayment. G, a resolution to approve summer program fees. H, a resolution permitting a fireworks display by the Hopewell Valley Veterans Association, June 27th, 2026. Can I have a motion?
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Hearing no opposed or abstentions? Great. That passes. Next, we'll move on to our resolutions. First, A, a resolution appointing Eric M. Perkins as municipal court judge in municipal court. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Great. Mr. Snyder?
Thank you, Mayor. Judge Perkins' term expires on March 13th, 2026, and he's being considered for reappointment for another 3-year term. The court administrator highly recommends his reappointment, citing his excellent performance on the bench.
Great. Any questions from the committee?
I just would like to briefly say that I had the pleasure of listening to Mr. Perkins, or Judge Perkins, excuse me, at the Citizens Police Academy, and he was extremely knowledgeable and well-informed, and I am very much in favor of this resolution.
Wonderful. Well, that's great to hear, and some, wonderful to see continuity. Anything else from the committee? Yep. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, abstentions? Seeing none, resolution passes. B, a resolution approving the job description for municipal housing liaison.
I'll move it.
Second?
Second.
Great. Mr. Snyder?
The township is progressing with the hiring of a full-time municipal housing liaison to address deed restrictions, to respond to inquiries about affordable housing, and assist with affordable housing initiatives, work on a rehab plan, and manage fourth-round planning. The Communications Worker of America Union, which represents this position, agrees with the changes in the proposed job description, and due to the additional responsibilities, we changed the job description.
Great. Thank you. And I'll just note that in addition to the high need for this job description and again, this role, one of the really important things for me that I think is really necessary for us all, to recognize is this role, among many other things, and making sure that all of the important tasks get done, ensures that in our affordable housing program, the incredible and important housing inventory goes to those in need and goes to the right families and the right people. And so, to me, this is such an important update, and so really, really appreciate this, and glad to see this moving forward.
Great.
Anything else from the committee? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Seeing no opposed abstentions, resolution passes. And I apologize, Committee Member Ruger. I know there's the delay in there, so that's on my bad. Great, moving along, Resolution C. A resolution authorizing the mayor and administrator to apply to the State of New Jersey Department of Community Affairs for a grant to the Woolsey Park Pavilion. Can I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Second?
Second.
Great, Mr. Snyder.
The township, along with our grant writing team at Aubrey Group, is applying for a $75,000 recreation grant to help cover the cost of a pavilion at Woolsey Park.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Anything from the committee?
No, I would just add to that, we've discussed this extensively at budget meetings. Mr. Ruger has championed this, as well as the overall Woolsey Park master plan. And what the pavilion will provide, and Mr. Ruger, if you want to comment further, will provide a permanent venue for our nonprofits, for our veterans, and for celebrations associated with the 250th. So always great to get money.
In addition to that, Committee Member Kaczynski, it will also provide a place for our summer recreation activities in the park. So we may be at the point, at some point, that we don't have to rent tents for it, but can rely on the pavilion. If nothing else, it also provides a space that if people are out there and they have mother's rights, it's an area that they can shower in. So, Mr. Snyder, I'm really pleased that we're going to be moving forward with this grant.
Yeah. Anything else for the committee? Just a wonderful community asset, and so really, really thrilled to see this. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Seeing no opposed or abstention, resolution passes. D, a resolution authorizing a senior services coordinator agreement between Borough of Hopewell, Borough of Pennington, and the Township of Hopewell. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Mr. Snyder?
The township provides a senior services coordinator role for Hopewell Borough, Pennington Borough, and the township. The coordinator covers all three entities. And we have a shared service. This is an annual renewal, and there's an increase of $200 per borough.
Anything from the committee?
Just I want to recognize that this is a public-private partnership, so beyond the support from the boroughs, we do work with Capital Health, and as one of our largest employers, I want to thank them for their contributions towards this role.
Absolutely. And always great to see shared services. All right, seeing no further comments, all in favor?
Aye.
Great. Resolution passes. Resolution E, a resolution authorizing a 30% release of performance bond number 800119885 and associated cash performance guarantee for American Properties, LLC Heritage at Hopewell, Block 78, Lot 17. I have a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Ms. Burkhead?
Thank you, Mayor. American Properties requested a reduction in its performance surety bond and cash performance guarantee for the Heritage at Hopewell project. Van Cleef Engineering reviewed the request and recommended releasing 30% of both the surety bond and the cash guarantee, contingent upon posting of a new bond and maintaining all escrow payments. This resolution authorizes the 30% release totaling $74,477 from the bond and $7,941 from the cash guarantee.
Any questions from the committee?
So I just have a question. So there's been some issue associated with this project, and I'm not sure it falls in American Properties, but because of the utility disruption and the damage to Route 31 and other surrounding properties, who's responsible for that? And when will we get those roads repaved?
American Properties actually has permits through DOT, my mistake, for the trenching along Route 31 to bring the utilities, specifically water from further south on 31 all the way up the shoulder and then onto the property. They will be responsible for repaving 31 when it's complete. However, the weather is going to be a large factor as to when they can actually get that done.
Thank you for that.
No, I appreciate that important question. Seeing no other comments from the committee, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution F, resolution of the Township Committee of the Township of Hopewell confirming election to not exercise right of first refusal to purchase affordable housing unit located at 189 Shrewsbury Court, Hopewell Township, New Jersey. I have a motion.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Great. Mr. Snyder?
The deed-restricted affordable housing unit at 189 Shrewsbury Court has reached the end of its deed-restricted period. The property owner has declined to renew the affordable housing controls and intends to sell at market value. The township has the right of first refusal to purchase the unit, which we're doing through this resolution. And as a result, the unit will be sold as an unrestricted unit, and the owners must pay the township 95% of the difference between affordable and market sale prices. Already 2 units have sold and received that recapture difference.
Thank you. Yeah, and that note I think is very, very important. Again, and we've highlighted that before, that if a formerly affordable unit is sold on the open market and at market rate, 95% of that increase, that delta, does go to the Affordable Housing Trust, which is a really, really important part of the process there. And it has been determined that even with that right of first refusal, those dollars could be better spent in other ways supporting affordable housing program.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
So does that money go to the Affordable Housing Trust? Yes. And how much have we gotten so far from these sales?
Yep, so for the 2 units that have sold and we've reclaimed 95% of the proceeds, we've collected about $140,000
Total
between the
each?
2.
Okay, that's great.
Goes a long way towards satisfying some fourth-round needs.
Yeah.
And,
That's-
some of the,
If we're doing 35,000 a unit for,
Right.
yeah, that's great.
so we trade 2, get 4.
For group homes, that's great.
Yep. smart agreement construction. Anything else from the committee? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstention? Seeing none, resolution passes. And I'm going to take G, H, and I together. G, a resolution authorizing an agreement between the Ewing-Lawrence Sewerage Authority, Ewing Township, Harry B. Geyer, and the Township of Hopewell for sewer service for property at 7 Diverty Road. H, a resolution authorizing an agreement between the Ewing-Lawrence Sewerage Authority, Ewing Township, Thomas L. Fisher, and the Township of Hopewell for sewer service for property at 15 Diverty Road. And I, a resolution authorizing an agreement between the Ewing-Lawrence Sewerage Authority, Ewing Township, Alexander Jenkins, Agata Kowalska, and the Township of Hopewell for sewer service for property at 34 Diverty Road. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Great. Ms. Burkhead.
Thank you, Mayor. Sewer lines are constructed up to the property lines of the Diverty Road lots. Property owners can connect to the sewer line once permits are completed, applications are approved, and the agreements are signed. The next 3 resolutions authorize this sewer service agreement with 3 additional Diverty Road residents. This brings us up to a total of 7.
Excellent. Thank you.
Excellent.
Yeah, and I know there have been lots of questions about this over the years, so really happy to see these moving forward for those residents that opt.
I think it's fulfilling our commitment to the residents of Diverty. So,
And thank you, Ms. Burkhead, for moving these along. I know it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And it's going forward without legal
Yes, 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 which we love.
Win, win, win.
All right, seeing no further comment, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstention? Resolutions all pass. J, a resolution to authorize the Township of Hopewell to contract with the Borough of Pennington for police dispatching and emergency communication service for the years 2026 and 2027. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Mr. Snyder.
The township provides dispatch services for Pennington Borough through a shared service. This is a renewal of that shared service for 2 years. Even though there has been a change to the scope of services, there will be an increase of 6% each year. So the total for 2026 will be $87,620, and a total for 2027 will be $92,870.
Great. Love to see shared services, and I think it's great that we are building in the inevitable cost increases and pieces in there. Anything from the committee? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstention? Seeing none, resolution passes. K, authorizing resolution to purchase treated and untreated rock salt and solar salt in excess of the bid threshold through the County of Mercer Cooperative Contract CK09 Mercer 2025-19. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Ms. Troutman.
My turn. So since the quantities that the township procures excess of bid threshold, one of the methods to procure this item is to go out to a co-op, because the co-op has already vetted the vendors, already looked at the pricing, takes the legwork away from the township. So in following up with a co-op is one of the smarter ways to do it.
And I very much like the difference between per ton delivered and per ton picked up. It's a very minimal difference in order to have the salt brought to us, and I know we've been using a lot of it.
Great. Seeing no further comments, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstention? Resolution passes. Next, Resolution L, a resolution amending professional services agreements. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
Great. Ms. Troutman, again.
Thank you. This resolution amends various PSAs from 2025 to reflect actual 2025 services. Some of the agreements are increased, others are decreased, so that we don't have a budget impact. We are going to increase and decrease so that we can have an even swap,
Just
essentially.
level it off.
Yeah.
Great. Any questions from the committee? Right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstention? Resolution passes. And now as we look forward to 2026, we're going to take M through P together. M, a resolution authorizing professional services agreements in a non-fair and open manner, Van Cleef Engineering Associates, LLC. N, a resolution authorizing professional services agreements in a non-fair and open manner, Banish and Associates. O, a resolution authorizing professional service agreements in a non-fair and open manner, various legal matters. And P, a resolution authorizing professional services agreements in a non-fair and open manner, various professional matter.
Excuse me, Mayor. M is the one that we
Oh.
are doing the amendment to.
You are absolutely right. M is, look at that, is M, a resolution authorizing professional services agreement in a non-fair and open manner, Van Cleef Engineering Associates LLC.
As amended.
As amended. There we go. Learn something new every day. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Ms. Troutman?
So at the January 26th budget meeting, we discussed various professional service agreements and awards that we wanted to make for the year. Those are reflected within these resolutions. Just to point out that the resolution as amended is, we had discussed awarding a wastewater award to Van Cleef. That was missed on the original resolution as produced. So we added that on there to reflect the meeting from the 26th.
Okay. Great. Any questions or comments from the committee? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstention? Seeing none, resolution passes. And lastly, Q, bills and claims. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Ms. Troutman?
So this is an unusually high bill list for us. Out of the 17.3 million going out, approximately 15 million of that is taxes going to other entities. So I just wanted to point that out. And this does include 2 pay periods, which does have 2 storms included in those pay periods.
Yeah.
So this is a higher than normal bills and claims.
Great. Anything from the committee? Roll call, please.
Committee Member Kaczynski.
Yes.
Committee Member Peters Manning.
Yes.
Committee Member Ruger.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Pirandari.
Yes.
Mayor Chait.
Yes.
And the bills and claims pass.
And so Mayor, before we go to the second public, can we look at dates just so that we, give notice to the public on future budget meetings? I would note we would normally do those on a Monday, but next Monday there is a special planning board meeting beginning at 7 p.m. And so I'd recommend that we look at the 10th if people are otherwise available.
We can do the 10th.
Okay. The following week, we
What
have
time?
5:30 to 7:30. And we will start with operations review. The following week, we have President's Day. We typically, before a committee meeting, we only do a half hour. So I'd propose on the 17th, we do 5:30 to 6:30. The following week is open. Ms. Troutman, I'm not sure how much you're anticipating, but I would propose that we start on the 23rd at 5:30 and go till at least 7.
I have a conflict at 7:30, so I
Okay.
could do till 7.
Okay, good. And then do we want to set any more, or is that sufficient for now?
What was the next day we said, February 17th and what?
The 10th, so it would be the 10th at 5:30. It would be the 10th from 5:30 to 7:30. It would be the 17th from 5:30 to 6:30. And then it would be, the following week would be the 23rd from 5:30 to 7. And I think 3 meetings will get us maybe halfway in between. We can relook at whether we need March meetings, but that gets 3 more meetings publicly on notice, and we can get that out to the public.
Great. And just for public here, I appreciate going through this. Let's outside of here just circulate with the Township Committee just to confirm those dates in there. I don't want to put everybody's calendars on the spot. But I appreciate starting that conversation. Great. So with that, we are at our second public. Same rules apply. If you have any comment, please raise your hand on Zoom or step up to the podium.
Good evening, Jim Bird, Hopewell Township, and this is for the members on the Township Committee who are also with the Planning Board. I would like the Planning Board to make a requirement to Lennar Homes if you are planning on approving this. And what they should be doing is notifying individuals who purchase a unit at the venue when when this does leak, which it will happen, that their value of their units will certainly decline. And not only the value of their units, but also keep in mind the other people in not only Hopewell Township, but also in Ewing Township who have well water that is certainly affected by leaks from jet fuel. And that's what they experienced in Upper Makefield Township in Pennsylvania. I think that this has to be a requirement by Lennar Homes, because if they're selling these units, they certainly are making money. And then they're walking away. But if they're not notifying these individuals who they're selling these units to and then walking away, no one was aware of what the issue was going to be. So once again, they also have to tell them that it's 4 feet below the street where they're running the main area. They have to be notified about that too, because just think about the impact constantly happening. And the other important thing is shale, because shale is the downfall for these steel pipelines. And an experience on that is when they put in the I-95, and they didn't realize when they got to Bear Tavern Road that there was gray shale, which is harder than the red shale, and they had to actually blast that whole area. So I think these are very important factors that should be required by Lennar Homes if they're selling these units. Thank you.
And I think right now, while it's still on the top of everyone's head, I certainly appreciate Mr. Bird's passion about this issue. I know that he is a neighbor. He's got an interest in this. I also know that he has appeared before the planning board and has had an opportunity to appear before the planning board. That's where these comments should be directed, and I would advise Mr. Kuczynski and Ms. Pirandari, although by statute there are representatives of the Township Committee who sit on the planning board, you are not sitting on the planning board tonight. Tonight you are members of the Township Committee. Anything that Mr. Bird has to say about the planning board needs to be directed to the planning board. You need to keep those two hats, those two duties separate.
Thank you, Mr. Goodell. With that, anything else for public comment? Anyone in the audience or on Zoom? All right. Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Mr. Bird, thank you for your comments. Okay, with that, we do have an executive session tonight. We do not anticipate taking action. And so can I have a motion to move into executive?
So moved.
A second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Well, we are now in executive. Whereas it is necessary for the Township Committee to discuss real estate, legal, contract negotiations, and/or personnel matters, and whereas NJSA 10:4-12 permits the Township Committee to conduct a meeting from which the public is excluded in order to discuss such matters, and whereas the time when and circumstances under which discussion conducted in executive session may be disclosed to the public is when appropriate. Now therefore be it resolved by the Township Committee of the Township of Hopewell, County of Mercer, State of New Jersey, that the Township Committee shall forthwith conduct an executive session to discuss the above. Be it further resolved that the scope of the aforesaid executive session will be limited to the above matters as stated. Thank you, everybody. We are now in executive, and I hope everybody has a great night.
Thank you.
Recording stopped.
Okay.